Welcome back to our RS3 development series. In this video we're going to talk about our recent VMAX event, which we went to a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, it was very hot on that day. It was around 30 degrees Celsius ambient. So the end result, or the fastest speeds, weren't as fast as our previous event, with temperatures around 10 degrees Celsius. However, it was still very good for us to test the comparison between our current stage 2 intake and our upcoming stage 3 intake. Now, our RS3 is still at the stage 2 level, so it's about 500 horsepower running on stock turbo. So it was a good opportunity for us to test at high speeds if there was any gains between the current intake and the stage 3 system. So this is our current RS3 intake. We released this a couple of years ago, back when the RS3 or TTRS was pretty new. People were just doing remaps, at the most stage 2. We released this with very good success. A lot of tuners around the world were giving us great feedback, giving us results with their remaps, getting good gains over the stock gearbox. The current system has a 3.5-inch diameter tubing. Also has a duct which isn't on the table, so it's a fully sealed system to the front of the car. However, recently the RS3 potential has been more realized, and you guys have been fitting hybrids, big turbos, building the engines, making crazy quarter-mile drag cars out of these cars. And some of you guys have been giving us a lot of feedback, a lot of data as to what you want to do with your cars, using our intakes as well, and telling us that perhaps this current system wasn't as good as it could be for these high-powered builds. And that feedback is exactly the reason why we bought our own RS3. So this RS3 you see behind us is because you guys told us that you want something more. Hence why we went back to the drawing board, looked at all the data, and thought, okay, what can we do to support you guys with these crazy high-powered builds? In front of me we have our existing filter and our existing filter housing. This has been working great for a number of years in many of our intakes. We haven't actually found the need to change this up until now, up until the big power builds and the big engine builds. So, as you can see, this is our patented housing, our custom-made filter which goes in the housing. As you all probably know by now, this is our reverse mounted filter in there, so this mounts this way, which gives you a nice transition to the pipe at the end. So you get a good laminar flow from the intake to the outlet side. Now, after a few months of intense development, lots of data logging, lots of fluid analysis, we have made a new filter, which is a lot bigger than this one. It's in fact probably the biggest we could fit inside the engine bay of the RS3 with our housing. This is our stage 3 RS3 filter. As you can see, height-wise it's bigger, but more significantly, the diameter of this is so much bigger than the current filter. This filter area is more than twice as much as the current filter. It's probably more apparent when you see this mounted into the housing. So this is the current housing. That's the current air inlet area. And our stage 3 housing, which is still a prototype, so it's unfinished, is this one. The outlet of this housing is 3.5 inches in diameter. The new one is 4 inches in diameter. It's a lot longer as well because the filter is so much bigger, so we need a bigger area for transition from the big diameter to the turbo tubes. If you look at the inlet sides, you see a massive difference. That is literally as big as we can go in diameter in the RS3 engine. With our stage 3 intake having a 4-inch outlet, naturally we need a 4-inch tube. So this is our current stage 2 system, which is 3.5-inch tubing. They're both pre-preg carbon, so there's no fiberglass being used. And we now have our new prototype stage 3 tube. It's unfinished, it's raw carbon, there's no clear coat on this. But again, like these, it's pre-preg carbon, so there's no fiberglass being used. We've kept the bends nice and smooth, so you have a nice smooth transition from the filter to the inlet. As a comparison in diameter, you can see there hopefully the 3.5-inch versus the 4-inch. Visually, it's quite a big difference. Now, it's all well and good having a big filter, big housing and 4-inch tubing going to the turbo, but as you all know, the RS3 engine bay gets hot really quickly. That's because you have an exhaust manifold, a turbo and a downpipe in a very close proximity behind the engine, When that thing gets hot, those things go cherry red and the engine bay heats up really quickly. And no matter where you put a filter, if it's open, it's going to draw in hot air. Be that at the front, at the back, wherever you put it, it's going to get hot and it will suck in hot air. Now, even if you have a good intercooler, no matter what you throw into the intercooler, the higher the temperature of the air going into the intercooler, the higher the temperature of the air coming out of the intercooler going to the engine, which is no good for power. So for us, it was very important to seal this system as we did with the current system. And now we have a stage 3 duct. Very similar in shape to our stage 2 system, but obviously larger in diameter on this side. You again have your rubber sealing to make sure that it's airtight and it only draws air in from the front. So that's the slam panel area. We also listened to you guys again with your feedback, and now you can see a feature here which is a scallop. This allows you to use an aftermarket throttle body larger than the stock throttle body. So you now have no worries about that now. So our stage 3 system is in front of you. We'll now go back to the airfield and see how it compares versus our stage 2 system on our stage 2 car. Stage 3 intake, first run. With all testing complete, what were the results? Well, actually, they were both exactly the same. That may sound negative, but it's exactly what we expected because our car is currently running 500 horsepower. Stock turbo is about stage 2, you'd call it. So there is no restriction with this intake. This intake at 3.5 inch performed exactly the same as the larger filter, the larger system with the 4-inch tubing. So it just proves that compared to the stock airbox, at stage 2, this system works really well. Now moving forward, we will be fitting a TTE 700 turbo to this engine, run the tests again. After that, we are building an engine. We will fit a big turbo to that engine and go all out for the big numbers. Run these tests again, and it'll be really interesting to see at what stage does this system start to become a restriction and this system start to produce more power.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you'd like to watch more of this project, you can do so over here. If you'd like to watch what YouTube suggests you might like from our other videos, you can watch that over here. If you like this video, please click on the thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. If you guys have any questions, please drop them in the comment section and we'll do our best to answer them for you.